Welcome to Better Sex, where you get the information and inspiration to create and enjoy your best possible sex life. Join your host, sex therapist Jessa Zimmerman, as she brings you expert guests, helpful tips, knowledge, and strategies to improve your intimate relationships. And now, your host, Jessa Zimmerman.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jessa, and I'm so happy you're here for this episode of Better Sex. I've dedicated my professional life to helping couples enjoy a fulfilling, intimate life. I believe that sex is important. Our connections to other people matter, and we're not living our life to the fullest if we aren't connecting emotionally and sexually with our partner. That's why I'm here, bringing ideas and information to help you live and love better. So I'm revisiting a topic that we talked about on a previous episode, which is menopause. But this time, it's not so much from the medical standpoint or a provider standpoint. It's more about the invisibility that tends to happen in that time of life. The lack of information, the lack of support, the lack of understanding, and how isolated and alone women can feel as they're getting into their midlife. And so I wanted to do this episode more on the social and support aspects of menopause and what it's like to try to go through that time feeling empowered and vibrant and alive and confident instead of what so frequently happens, which is almost like a setback. I mean, I can't remember if I read this somewhere. Somebody called it the second adolescence, but it's a little bit reminiscent of that. Who am I? How do I fit in? Where's my place? Do I feel empowered or not? Do I just want to hide? So much of what somebody can go through at 12, 13, 14 can almost resurface in middle age. And so I've got connected with Jill Angelo, and she is the founder and CEO of Genneve, which is a healthcare management solution for women in midlife. So the mission of Genneve is to empower women to take charge of their health and feel their best, confident, and most sexy selves. And that just appealed to me. In addition to the medical episode we did on it and what people can expect, this is more, where can people go to make this an empowered transition and maybe the best years of their life instead of feeling like they've been set back. So Jill is tech exec turned women's healthcare advocate, and she's bringing her passion for women's development and health together with her technology experience to build this new organization, Genneve. And she's a driving force for bringing effective health solutions, information, and resources to women in the most vibrant years of their life. So I hope you enjoy my conversation with Jill Angelo. Well, Jill, thank you so much for being with me today. I'm delighted you're here.
It's my pleasure to be here. Happy to join.
Yeah. So maybe start out by talking a little bit about what Genneve is.
Genneve is a digital healthcare company for women in midlife and menopause. We focus specifically on giving women greater access to credible information, to a community of other women experiencing the same thing, and eventually access to health providers through our digital health platform.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your journey getting into this venture. What made you decide to do it? What's your path been?
Yeah, I've always been in technology. For 20 years, I've been in a small tech company that was then acquired by Microsoft. And I've known and seen the benefits of what technology brings to people of all kinds. And my passion is women's health. And so I finally, after a long career, decided to take a 3-month sabbatical and reassess life, as so many people do.
Yeah.
And I found a way to bring together my passion of women's health and now applying the benefits of technology to that so that we improve accessibility and also address this really underserved population of women that just don't really get a lot of information, expectations, or support through this time in life.
Yeah, sort of fall through the cracks, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So when you say your passion has been women's health, is there a story behind that at all?
I wish there was some glorious story, but there really isn't. My dearest passion is women and girls feeling confident. And I don't know why. That is just, it's something I've struggled with my entire life. I think when you are confident, you are comfortable in who you are, and then you are your best self.
Right.
And
right.
I just think that that's at the root of everything in life, whether it's professional, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's just feeling great about yourself. And I started to notice my philanthropic time was spent across initiatives that are really focused on helping girls be comfortable in who they are, or focusing on them in the middle school years in education. I'm on the board of a girls' school here in Seattle that's focused on middle school years. And as I started to see those patterns, knowing that, and I'm an incredibly healthy person,
Okay.
and knowing that as women get to midlife, for some reason, our confidence is tapped in some sort of weird way, whether it's because we're not feeling great, or because we're aging, or because we've now become invisible to society. And that just gets under my skin. And so if I can address one aspect of that, which is women's health in this part of life, then I'm speaking to a deeper mission inside my heart.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear. And I think you're right. The confidence that we have, if we have that, we take up like more space in the world, right? We can have a much larger impact. So there's something about, the word empowerment gets overused, but there really is power that comes out of that.
Yeah. Even you take the Women's March that happened over the weekend, and women took up space, as you just said. And there is a great feeling. I know I marched and I felt so great, surrounded by all these other people, men and women, children, young and old. And you just kind of felt like, I do matter, and I can see why those kinds of things matter to people. So it's that notion of, I'm taking space, and I have every kind of right, and I should take space. I think that's what we want to push women to feel more comfortable doing.
Right. Besides confidence, were there other challenges or concerns that you wanted to really address with Genneve for women in this midlife phase?
With so many things I undertake, it starts with some research. And so when we started Genneve, my co-founder and I did a formal body of research and reached out to 1,500 women to really just understand, how are you in this phase of life? What kind of resources do you access? Were you prepared for it? Who do you get your information from? And we just sought out to learn in a pretty both quantifiable and trusted way to understand, what are the gaps? Because you just don't hear much about menopause. I know I'm getting there. I'm building a company that I'm going to need eventually. But it really dawned on me through that body of research more than anything, the clear need for information, for setting expectations, for all the things that can happen in a woman's body as hormones start to change, anywhere from loss of libido, as you're familiar with, to migraines and anxiety and insomnia. And so I continue to learn. And as I got deeper and deeper into it, it just kind of drove me to say, wow, there's really got to be a little bit more of a solution here to start to normalize this, because it has such a stigma associated with it.
So when you did that research, you were hearing from people about their particular experiences and what kind of symptomology they were having or changes?
Yeah, both symptoms as well as then how did they deal with it? Who did they go to? And we had a lot of data. And so where we synthesized it down to was two things: credible information and directing women to the right people to talk to.
Okay.
And so honing in on that information, we started publishing content with physicians. Every piece of content we published or podcast that we produced, it's with a health provider, health and wellness professional, so that it's got credibility and expertise backed behind it. And now as we launch the Health Concierge, we'll start to deliver on that other insight around giving women access to the right kinds of health providers for whatever question they have. Right.
So what was the most surprising thing you learned, either, in the course of that research or maybe since starting Genneve? Like, what have the surprises been?
I am surprised at how much women will tell me. Or how much they'll share, or how much they want to share.
Yeah.
And it makes them feel not so isolated. And it's just almost kind of healing. And it's made me so much more of an empathetic person. I'm a better person now since I started Genneve than 2 years ago. But I'm so surprised at women just need an outlet, And if you can establish a trusted outlet and a community, it takes off on its own. I am an administrator of it. I don't need to lead it. It just really has a life of its own, and it's healthy and it's positive, and it's women helping women and professionals helping women. And I think the gratifying part of this is to see the general kindness in human beings that has come out of some of this work that we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems to me that part of what's needed is community, not just information that you might get sitting at home looking on the computer, but that whether there's a forum or there's discussions or there's events or something to bring women together in this stage of life. Is that part of what Genneve is doing, or do you see that in the future?
Definitely in the future, because I'm a big believer in person-to-person content. There's a warmth that you don't get through technology.
Right.
We have done some in-person events, and they've been incredible, energy-filled, honest sessions of women coming together and feeling better about themselves when they're leaving with some good information. I think right now, with our ability to use technology, there's tension between reaching many with what we want to do and then going deep with them. And I think the events will be the going deep, but we certainly want to continue to build that audience in a very big and broad way.
Right, right. And how are you getting the word out so far?
Through sometimes general just marketing tactics. You talked a little bit about women just searching things out on the internet.
Right.
There are over 4 million monthly searches on women's midlife and menopausal symptoms.
Wow.
So that's a lot. It shows you that it's discreet. It's the only place women know where to go, and they're searching it out. They're hungry for information. And so our first and foremost key way is we are publishing content with health providers that give answers to these women searching on different symptoms and experiences they have. And that way we're really growing our audience just organically. We haven't put a dime into that other than the cost it takes to create quality content.
Right.
And that continues to build our audience in a meaningful way. And then we're going to start a referral program here soon. We also do sell a line of feminine care products, which is a way to build our audience. It's not core to our business, but it's certainly a revenue driver for us. And so we do sell those products direct on our site at genneve.com, as well as on Amazon.
Yeah. Okay. It's Jessa here, just taking a quick break. Thanks for listening. Are you interested in being a guest on the show? I'm always looking for people with expertise to share that could enrich other people's sex lives. And I'm also interested in hearing from people who have transformed their own intimate relationship and would want to share their story with my listeners. So if you've got something to contribute to the discussion and want to see about being featured on an upcoming episode, please visit our website, bettersexpodcast.com, and check out the Be a Guest details. You'll find everything you need there. How would you put into words, sort of the opportunities of this stage of life, right? Like part of this discussion is about, the challenges and the changes that maybe people don't welcome. But it also seems to me that there's these benefits of reaching the middle of our lives.
Yeah. We often talk, our main persona that we work with is the vibrant woman. And we wrote up a story of who she is. And she is the woman that cares less what other people think of her. She's at the top of her game professionally if she's working outside the home. Mm-hmm. She's more independent than she's ever been because her kids are a little bit older. She's probably more financially set. So you've got all these things that are the best they've ever been in a woman's life. And, by the way, menopause or symptoms of menopause are starting to strike. So, hey, if we can help women thrive through this period of life versus feel suffocated or isolated because of one slice of what they're feeling, that's our bigger mission. So we approach this topic not from oh my God, fight to live another day. It's kind of more like, hey, no, you know what? These are the best years of your life. You're going to feel fabulous. And here's some ways to do that and overcome some of the crappier things that just are going to kind of pull away from that.
I'm almost picturing, I've got this visual image now of a woman like soaring, in menopause, like holding their feet down or something, instead of being an anchor.
Yeah, we definitely think about a woman. Here's a kind of a mental model, like a woman in a leather jacket with great boots and walking down the street. And she just kind of kicks the menopause person off the back of her heel, or the whatever it is, and says, you're there. I know it, but I'm dealing with you and you're not going to hold me back today.
Right. Not going to slow me down. Yeah. That's cool. I don't know how much of the research that you did or what you're hearing from people is about sex, right? Because I've got you on the Better Sex podcast, because I certainly get people in my practice with the effects of menopause, or it's changed something in their sex life and they're coming in to talk about that. But what showed up in your research or in your content about that?
Sex is huge, and women want to have sex.
Yeah.
They want to have sex and they want it to be great and good. So that's number one. And they're willing to do something about it.
Yeah.
And so loss of libido is probably the biggest thing. And then dryness, and pain associated with it. I think that if we're able to continue the information around, hey, this is somewhat normal, and bring information to women that kind of really shows them how they can really have a really gratifying sex life, and even the most gratifying they've ever had, that can be meaningful. And we try to do that a lot through our content. The research, it comes up time and again. The things that we publish around sexual health and libido tend to perform the best.
Yeah.
Again, it's something on people's minds. We also recently conducted a sexual wellness study with a partner of ours to look at just even using more devices in their sexual life and what that did to help them think about it, and then as a result, using those parts of their bodies to either heal any discomfort or not. It was really a meaningful experiment and study with these women that we did. And so it's pervasive through everything that we do. And it's on women's minds, as you can attest, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In the work you do.
Well, and I think that, this aspect that you're taking on, which is confidence through information and through healthcare, but that ultimately you're talking about how do you get this vibrancy? I think if people feel that, they're going to feel more sexual.
Yeah.
They're not going to be separate from their sexuality in that sense. So,
yeah. And feeling sexy feels younger, than not feeling sexy. You kind of also defy that whole age thing that's starting to happen with women during this time of their life.
Well, certainly, sex is good for you physically, emotionally. I mean, good sex anyway, wanted sex. So that does help counteract any sense of getting older too.
Certainly.
So is there anything else you want to let me know or let the audience know about Genneve and the team involved, or what's coming in the future? Where can people learn more?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, come to Genneve.com. It's Genneve. So it's Genneve with 2 N's. Sign up to our newsletter. We've got great content that comes out weekly. We also run a lot of promotions for the product line that we carry. But in the coming quarter, first part of 2018, we will be launching the Health Concierge. And that is going to be our first chance for our subscribers to call in and talk to our first physician that we'll have on that telehealth platform. Our team is all very much passionate and focused around women's health, whether it is the content that we publish to the health providers that are working with us, to even the technologists. Men and women are coming together to really drive this solution, which is sort of a first of its kind. There's not a lot out there for menopause. And so we're pioneering, which has its own line of challenges when you're the first, but I'd say come join our community and be on the lookout for the Health Concierge launching soon.
Great. That sounds wonderful. Well, thanks again for being with me today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Better Sex. Please visit our website, bettersexpodcast.com, for show notes and additional episodes.
Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I also want to thank my Patreon supporters. If you are interested in becoming a patron of the Better Sex Podcast, consider making a monthly pledge through patreon.com/bettersexpodcast. You can find the link in the show notes as well. For as little as $2 a month, you'll get advance access to every episode, and there are more rewards for greater donations. Thanks. I'd also ask you, if you have time, to visit iTunes and subscribe to the podcast. You can rate and review the show, which helps other people find us. And if you found this episode resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. You can leave a comment on the episode page, which you'll find with the show notes, Let me know what you think. And if you've got questions you want me to answer on a future episode, you can also record a question for me right there, and I might play it on a future episode. Thanks for listening, and tune in again soon.
Our theme music has been composed, recorded, and provided by Rick Ruskin, courtesy of Lion Dog Music.